Teignmouth in South Devon has a long history of seafaring. It was a thriving port in the 14th century, trading in fish and salt. In 1690, Teignmouth saw the very last invasion of the British soil, when the French landed and destroyed most of the town by fire, leaving only one building left standing. Fortunately, it was the pub. Today, you can enjoy the beauty of the town quite safely. In calm and storm, there have been centuries of struggle with the sea. The warmth of the Gulf Stream helps these palm trees flourish here on the Ness Cliff, where we explore our first seafaring tale. Smugglers' Tunnel. Who knows how many barrels of brandy, whiskey, packets of tobacco were smuggled from the sea down here to the waiting customers, or perhaps the police down here. A pleasant life in rural Devon, but smuggling and contraband was very much part of everyday life. Later on, perhaps seaweed was brought up this tunnel for use for growing potatoes, a little more mundane. Or perhaps we might find pirates here. Don't worry, these pirates are sheltering from the storms at Trinity Marine in Teignmouth, where we will find the most amazing collection of marine collector's items I've ever seen, and some things from Russia. There's lots of marine stuff here in this amazing shop. This is Mark, the owner. He owns it with his father, and they've been collecting things like this for quite a long time. There's stuff from ships you wouldn't believe. Things from underwater and things from ships that are floating on the top, or used to. Mark, all this stuff, where does it come from?
Well, we're a family that's always been involved in the scrap metal business, a lot of which we used to send out to the Far East. And when we went over there, we saw the shipbreaking yards of India and Pakistan, and saw many ships on the beach where they were taking a lot of this material off.
What kind of stuff?
All the ship's fittings, and on the older ships, all the fittings of the portholes, the lights, the steering equipment, it was all made of brass and bronze. So when it's polished, it looks beautiful.
It does, it's fantastic stuff. You've got other things as well. There are these binnacles?
Yeah, that's the ship's binnacle, which houses the compass on the bridge.
Right.
We buy all the material off the bridge, including the telegraphs, the binnacles, the steering wheel.
And you've got nameplates from ships.
Yeah, all the builders' plates.
Steering wheels?
Yeah, wheels of all sizes.
Is it called a steering wheel?
Yeah, it's a ship's helm,
Ship's helm.
But people know it as a wheel or a house.
So we found a fantastic clock, Mark, in the shop here, rooting around, and tell us a little bit about it. I think it's Russian.
Yeah, well, this is a Soviet clock. It's more than a clock, in fact. It's a ship's chronometer, designed for the Russian Navy, and that's really the main navigational instrument aboard the ship.
Right. It's beautiful. It's brass, and the most exquisite handles on the side, which you can't quite see.
Yeah. The fittings are gold plated.
It's gold plated?
Yeah, and it's 16 dual movement. It's a real classy piece.
It works?
Yeah, in fact, it's regarded as one of the best ship's chronometers of its time. A lot of my collectors are trying to find the rarer, more hard to find English chronometers and the American chronometers, which are 3-4 times the money of these. But for the customer that wants a genuine clock that works beautifully and has a really good quality movement in it, then I recommend the Russian clock.
The shop only contains a fraction of their stock. Take a look at the store yard.
That's a Russian diving pump.
A Russian diving pump. Wow. Oh, for supplying air to the helmeted diver.
Two handles on the side.
Yeah.
Brand new, never used.
Cannons, for repelling invasion, life belts and post boxes, the yard dog, 100 hunting dog garden seats, company crests, mountains of brass fittings. Do you know how many cubic feet or yards or whatever it is you've got in there? What capacity?
About 6,000 square foot.
6,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Ship's telegraphs. Ship's bells from the Ukraine. Old anchors and wheels. Can anyone tell me how this Soviet railway container got here into the depths of Devon? The small but busy docks in Teignmouth often host Russian ships such as the Baltiskaya as they travel the routes between England, Russia and the Mediterranean ports, carrying wood, clay and fertiliser.
До свидания!
The classic English film Letter to Brezhnev tells the love story of a Russian sailor visiting Liverpool and a local girl. They have to part as he sails back home. She writes a letter to Brezhnev asking if he can return. Brezhnev sent her an aeroplane ticket and a visa to go to Russia.
Смотри, быстро! Под Ливерпул! Под Ливерпул! Beatles!
Do you see that star?
Which one? That big one just there?
Yes, the brightest one in the sky. It reminds me of my home. Every night from my bed, I look through my window and see it shining in the sky. And when I am away from Soviet Union, I look to the star and it makes me feel at home.
Well, from now on, every time I see that star, it'll remind me of you.
Mark Jeffs for Russian Hour in South Devon.